Hi, and welcome back to Casting Seeds.
I'm Savannah, your holistic health practitioner and host.
I'm Jeremiah, your co-host.
And you're listening to the only holistic health podcast that uses God's singular truth to give you individualized discernment. Jeremiah told me he wasn't going to do the intro, and then he did.
That was great. She counted down and everything.
He threw me for a loop. So today we have a really exciting episode for our nourishing news, which we're going to make it a little different. We're going to put it in the middle of the podcast today. For our nourishing news today, we're going to be talking about how there's a new study that came out that proves that coffee, juice, and sodas, all three, actually create a much higher risk to stroke, and it is a non-biased study done through a college. So that's super interesting. And also we were doing another, I feel like I need like a drum roll. Is that a thing?
You say, is that a thing every time? And I'm going to tell you, no, it's not.
Once we get a budget for this, you guys will start having fun sound effects. We are doing another body mapping episode specifically on our limbs. So our legs, our hands, and our feet.
And I thought limbs are arms.
Your limbs are all of them, all four.
Oh, I thought your hands were separate.
They're on your limb.
Yeah, they are.
You didn't know that?
No, I know that. But whenever you reference your limbs, it's normally like from the elbow or from the shoulder down. Yeah,
the shoulder down to your hand, to the tip of your fingertips. That's a limb.
Yeah,
or your thigh, the top of your thigh.
If you get your hand chopped off, you're not like, oh, I lost my limb.
You
because
lost
you still have your arm.
A part of your limb.
But you lost your hand.
Yeah, which is a part of your limb.
Okay. Semantics.
No, I think it's called biology. But it's okay. That's what I'm here to teach you about today.
Let's hear it.
All right, let's get to it. So speaking of hands, we are actually going to start with hands today, just because I feel like so many people ask when it comes to Chinese medicine and medicine in general, what on earth do I do if I have nails splitting, or people talk about cracked hands a lot. Just a lot of different things. And also too, when people look in their hands and then they touch certain spots and it's sore, it can equate to different parts or organs in their body. Not everyone does well with that, but when it comes to your body, God made everything very purposeful. So some people respond really well to reflexology, which is what that's called. The same thing can happen also to the bottom of your feet. Some parts of your feet will cramp and they'll equate that to certain organs. And again, not everyone responds great to reflexology the same way that not everyone responds great to chiropractic or what's that, the Asian one, acupuncture, or even massage, right?
Yeah.
So this is another way for you guys to be able to do body awareness and check in and have something else added into your tool belt in case you have any of these ailments that Jeremiah is going to mention. Are you ready, love?
Definitely. I'm really interested in this because I've worked with my hands most of my life.
Yeah.
I've had every single type of thing on my hands: burns, cuts, broken bones.
Okay, well, I'm sure there are a lot of people
not listening to this.
I was going to say people's husbands who probably are listening to this that can relate. And I'm sure there are a lot of women who do work with their hands like me. So why don't you read the ailments, my love?
All right, let's do this. Breaking and splitting, chipping nails.
Oh, yeah.
These are an indicator that your liver needs help. They may also be a sign of calcium, zinc, or EFA deficiencies or low stomach acid.
Yeah. So when people have breaking and chipping or splitting nails, one of the biggest things that I ask them is if they have a magnesium or especially a zinc deficiency. Magnesium and zinc tend to go hand in hand, but specifically magnesium citrate. So that's something to look into. And the solutions for this are actually to take the herb milk thistle, at least two 500 milligram capsules a day. And then also eating broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, any type of whole grain. I also like chicory and just any kind of seeds or any vegetables that are super fibrous. Those are normally better. Again, these all support liver health. Drinking 2 cups of nettle tea also every day. It's high vitamin C, higher in zinc, anything with high vitamin C. So you can also add in tons of different types of fruits and veggies, but specifically mango and strawberries have really high amounts of vitamin C.
Sold.
Oh, you guys, there are these mango. Well, I don't know. I kind of want to gatekeep it a little bit. Everyone's going to get them now. There are these blue bags of organic mangoes at Costco, frozen. And we got my sister onto it because she's living with us now. They are the best. They taste like candy. They literally taste like candy. They are so good. And we just literally pour them into a bowl frozen and eat them. Our dogs do too.
And then we put tahini on it or something. Give it some flavors. Well, that's me.
I don't do that. That's disgusting.
Yeah, I love it. But I just realized this is not going to cover all my abuse that I've done to my hands. It's going to be internal effects.
What?
This list for my hands.
Oh,
it's not going to cover anything that I've done to my own hands.
Well, I mean, yeah, calendula.
This is all natural, like body functions that have affected your hands and showing you results.
But also too, if your hands tend to be more brittle and your nails split and you have a hardworking job and you're wondering why your nails split so easily.
Yeah.
This is a good thing to know. I also, when it comes to drinking 2 cups of nettle tea a day, I prefer tinctures, just doing 30 drops, which is actually way more than 2, but take 30 drops in the morning and then maybe 10 before bed to support your liver. But that to me is it's much better. And it kind of combines helping your liver and boosting your vitamin C levels and calcium. And it does help your stomach acid. Yeah. So nettle is a great way to help splitting your nails. And you can also soak your fingernails in the nettle tea as well.
Mm. Yeah, nettle's actually been popping up a lot in our episodes lately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even in the biblical herbs.
Starting to think maybe I should start drinking some nettle tea and get a nettle tincture for myself.
Yeah. I'll never say no to Jeremiah buying more tinctures.
Oh my gosh.
Ever.
I'm not even going to start like going to Sprouts. Oh boy. We're walking out of there with at least 10 extra tinctures that we didn't need that we're going to have in the future when we do need it.
Yeah. I'm all about preparativeness.
Yeah, she is.
What's the next ailment?
White spots on the nails are a classic sign of zinc deficiency.
Mm-hmm.
More than 80% of people that go in to see a holistic health practitioner.
That's me.
They come and they get tested for deficiencies, and zinc is number 1 to pop up. By the time white spots reach your nails, your zinc levels are pretty low, and you need to do something about it soon.
Yeah, now you guys, I can do labs, which by the way, I am so excited about. And I want to do the labs at cost as well. So if anyone has any questions about labs or wants to get their labs done, Jeremiah is literally checking all of his nails right now. I can't.
What is this white right here?
Yeah, that's a spot.
That's a white spot?
No, I'm just messing.
Yeah, when you say
that's
white spot.
That's just the nail bed.
Okay. You got me. I was thinking more like along the lines of like mushroom ladybug spots.
No, yeah, they're like little spots that come up. I used to get them all the time when we had really bad candida.
Oh.
I used to get them really bad.
Yeah, I'm good.
But you and I also take zinc.
Do I? See, she just puts it in my bag and I just eat it. And no questions asked.
Anyway, when it comes to doing labs, I wanted to let you all know that I can do labs. And if you are struggling financially, I help you guys get them at cost. So for instance, before I go into solutions for white spots, Jeremiah and I, when we found out about our first pregnancy, it was going to cost us altogether with the 2 separate doctor's appointments and a blood draw, almost $300 just to find out if we were pregnant. The first appointment was $150 and we were going to pay $100 for the blood draw and then another $50 for the second appointment.
And they weren't going to do it unless we got, STD tested also.
Yeah. And they were adding in all these extra tests. So I'm going to throw out there, guess how much a pregnancy test cost, a blood test?
$7.
$7.
Oh, I was right. That's awesome.
Just a little over $7. So if that tells you how much people mark up testing, I give it to you guys at cost. You just have to pay for the appointment with me online or in person. I'm trying to get all of those lab appointments to be online only, just to kind of separate it so that I can be in the office doing alignment work for people. But back to solutions. I just wanted to say that.
Really quick though,
Oh, yeah.
do you want them to, would they have to schedule an appointment with you?
Oh, yeah. I do have that's a good question. I have a free 15-minute consultation call. So if someone calls and they're like, well, I do get this covered by my insurance. Great. Do it through your insurance. And I talk to them about that. If anything over 15 minutes, I start charging by the minute just so that people really do respect that time. But ultimately, it's pretty easy to figure out within about 5 minutes if someone would genuinely need me or not. But yeah, they would just have to let me know if they want to do labs.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, and they can book online. Everything's bookable for online.
Solutions for white spots.
Yes. Start taking 1 teaspoon of liquid algae every day.
No,
it's so good. And a tablet of zinc supplement daily, which I think would be 200 milligrams of zinc. And I would take it, I prefer it before bed, but I've been taking it in the morning as well just to kind of see the difference. And I haven't felt a huge difference, but I do know that taking zinc before bed is better for you.
Is that a more along the lines of like a common thing for like just flat 200, or does that change like male, female body weight?
Yeah, all of these are all general suggestions.
Okay.
If someone's not seeing a difference, then they should double it. But it just depends on, your body awareness levels. So I'm always going to recommend the lowest and safest amount for every person.
Gotcha.
But these are good questions. For snacks, if you just eat more pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds throughout the day, they're really high in zinc. So
yeah, I gotta get those shelled. It's too much work.
You're so lazy. I can't.
You'd be like those people on the side of the street. Like you pull over and like there's tons of shells on the side of the street right there. So gross. That you see it at Home Depot all the time.
I can't. Okay. Well, anyway, with cracks, also, I just wanted to add for another issue. People tend to get a lot of cracks on the skin and tiny blisters, especially on their fingertips.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's just another sign of zinc deficiency. I'm going to say that a lot of these are also signs of zinc deficiency for the feet as well. But so it's the same thing. And the same solutions that we've mentioned for the past 2 are good, like especially for white spots.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we mentioned would help. I even would add in that aloe vera gel, drinking a little bit of it, not the kind you put on your body. Yeah. If you genuinely go to different stores have it. We just tend to use Sprouts because we're close to one. They have a gallon size of aloe vera gel that's 100% edible, and you can just drink that, which is great.
I haven't seen the gallon. It's smaller now. They've reduced the size.
Of course. Well, you can just get aloe vera gel. All right, Jeremiah, on to the next ailment.
Yeah. So swollen hands and, not hands, fingers or puffy hands. A sign of B6 deficiencies.
Yes. So a lot of people have vitamin B6 deficiency. My mom is a great example, which if you guys could be please praying for my mom because her brain surgery is coming up this upcoming Monday at 5 a.m. So if you guys could be praying for her on October 14th, that would be a huge blessing. But she gets a lot of vitamin B6 deficiency because of her cancer and her lupus diagnosis. But you're going to want to eat plenty of high vitamin B foods like brown rice, sunflower seeds, avocados, buckwheat especially is probably the best on the list, and legumes. My mom literally craves beans. Like, you've seen her.
Yeah.
She
makes the best beans.
She does. She is the whitest Mexican. She's not Mexican at all, but she married one.
She is white.
The tea has really taught her how to cook.
Yeah. Abuelas.
Yeah. You're going to have to also take an additional daily dose of at least 35 milligrams a day of B6. And I would also say probably the same thing for vitamin B12, but you just want to be careful not taking too much B12 because it can give you anxiety or panic attacks if you take too much of it. So just take your blood levels, see where you're at, and then you can do a dosage from there. How about the last one, love?
All right. The last one is red scaly skins on hands. What does it mean by that?
Yeah, so red scaly skin can be a mixture of a lot of different things, but normally it's a hydration issue. Red scaly skin can be itchy, it can be dry, it's mostly tight and uncomfortable, and there definitely is a fascia tension that makes any type of mobility actually really difficult. You could have a zinc, EFA, and especially a vitamin C deficiency and E deficiency. That's what I meant by like the lack of hydration. But red scaly skin can also be a sign of food sensitivities. So rashes, itchiness, all that kind of stuff, especially over
Frito
time.
paws.
Yeah, Frito paws for dogs. Dogs do get that when they have food sensitivities.
Allergies, yeah.
Well, I was going to say too, it's also a type of form of psoriasis, right? So whenever people have long-term psoriasis, I talk to them and say, hey, psoriasis isn't just on your face or your hair, which is the most common. It also happens in the groin. It happens all over people's bodies, including
Knees,
their hands.
elbows,
Yeah, your hands and feet. It's going to be in very moist places normally. So that's why it really tends to coagulate around the face and head because it gets sweaty. But also that's why people really get it in their armpits. And, if you have clammy hands and feet, it can cause your body can go on the opposite end and try to create more severe dryness. So people who tend to get clammy hands can then get the red scaly skin on top of their hands, and it can be itchy and dry. But there are solutions for this, you guys. So trying to add, again, more zinc deficiency, 25 milligrams of zinc, and then 1,000 milligrams of EFAs, and 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, and 400 IU vitamin E to your diet would be very important. This includes cod liver, krill oil, and all sorts of different types of vitamin E. You could also add algae to that as well if you're vegan, but it's not going to have the same effects as an actual animal would. Another thing is to probably get yourself tested for any type of food sensitivities. You should probably start by eradicating the most likely suspects, which are probably going to be wheat and, sugar, chocolate, dairy, those types of things, and then see how you're doing from there. Which Jeremiah was really sad when we had to do that. But this is a good break because I think I hear the news coming, Jeremiah. Welcome to the third installment of the Nourishing News segment. I'm really excited to bring this to you because this was actually a doozy and it probably makes Jeremiah more sad than anything else we should talk about today, because the frequent fizzy fruit or high caffeine consumption drinks are linked to higher stroke risk. This came out on September 30th, 2024 from the University of Galway. Frequent drinking of fizzy drinks or any type of fruit drink / caffeinated drink with coffee specifically is associated with an increased risk of stroke according to the new findings in their research. This also showed that drinking more than 4 cups of coffee per day doubles the increase of risk of stroke. That's crazy for the people who drink a lot of coffee. So according to these new findings from global research studies co-led by University of Galway in collaboration with McMaster University in Canada and an internal network of stroke researchers.
Fight or flight.
Yeah, with your adrenals. So that's, before I get into the rest of it, I just reading this headline, people were like, what? How could fruit drinks be associated with soda or all the, I'm assuming it's more, but it says carbonation. It just says fizzy drinks. All of these things do trigger fight or flight, your adrenals. And Jeremiah kept whispering it when I was taking breaths. But your adrenals start to trigger when your gut has any type of inflammation, which when you have high amounts of sugar and juice or sugar mixed with bubblies, because any type of fizzy drink also kind of attacks your immune system, and caffeine attacks your immune system. All of these things can cause your body to go into a blood clot and a stroke. And the reason why is because a stroke occurs when the blood supply part of the brain is cut off and it damages the brain. It can either be an ischemic stroke, which is usually due to the blood clot, or it can be an intercerebral hemorrhage, which is the bleeding into the brain tissue. Interstroke is one of the largest international studies of risk factors of stroke, involving almost 27,000 people in 27 countries, including almost 13,500 people who experienced their first stroke. Those who took part in the study came from a broad range of geographical and ethnic backgrounds with different cardiovascular risk profiles, and including Ireland and the UK and the US and so on and so forth. This study, which focused on people's consumption of fizzy drinks and fruit juice, found fizzy drinks, including both sugar sweetened and artificially sweetened, were linked to 22% risk. Fizzy drink risks were also higher in Eastern and Central Europe, Middle Eastern, Africa, and South America. The next was sugars and preservatives inside any type of fruit juice offset the benefits usually linked with fresh fruit and actually increase the stroke risk. Fruit drinks also were linked to 37% increase in a chance of a stroke due to bleeding. So it was the intracranial hemorrhage. With these two drinks per day, you're basically tripling your risk of stroke. So if you were to have a bubbly drink and a fruit drink, just one of them per day, you're tripling your risk of stroke. Women show the greatest increase in chance of stroke due to bleeding, mostly due to fruit drinks, while drinking more than 7 cups of water a day was linked to reduced odds of stroke by clot. Here's the part of the study that focused on people's consumption of coffee and high caffeinated tea. Drinking more than 4 cups of coffee per day increased the chance of stroke by 37%. Drinking caffeinated tea was linked to a reduced chance of stroke by 18 to 20%. Okay, that made me feel better. I thought it was when they said it earlier, it made it sound like tea was doing it. So actually tea reduces stroke by 18 to 20%.
It's calming.
Not all of it. Some of it, they're saying that the way your body processes tea and coffee are different. Drinking 3 to 4 cups per day of black tea, including breakfast and Earl Grey teas, but not green tea or herbal teas, was linked with 29% lower chance of stroke. So
I'm going to live forever.
Black teas are actually safer for you by almost 30%. That's crazy. Drinking 3 to 4 cups per day of green tea was linked with 27% lower chance of stroke. It also says that when you added milk to your tea, the reduced chance from stroke that you got before when you were drinking tea was actually canceled out by adding milk. And it's because the milk becomes pasteurized. So a raw milk, also if you put a raw milk into a hot cup of tea or a hot cup of coffee, it is now pasteurized. For people who think otherwise, I don't know what to tell you. The last one is there is an important geographical difference in the findings. Tea was linked with a lower chance of stroke in China, South America, and a higher chance of stroke in Southeast Asia, which is really interesting.
I'm curious because, coffee is one of the biggest mold products in the world. Mm-hmm. I wonder if that is the reason why it's so bad.
It didn't mention that.
I know. I don't. It didn't consider that because it looks like it's really going towards caffeine. But if tea and it has caffeine,
if it was just a caffeine issue,
because like a cup of black tea is half of a cup of coffee, mm-hmm. and the only difference is one's a bean, one's a leaf.
That's not necessarily true because your body processes coffee differently than it would a tea.
Yeah.
So. I don't know.
You'll do a coffee enema, but you won't do a tea enema. So
people could. What do you mean you? Were you saying me? I've done none. I have done 0 enemas. That is something I've yet to try.
Yeah, don't plan on it.
I have friends who rave about it, so I would do it with a licensed professional. But not in the privacy of my own bathroom.
No? I'll get the water hose.
Absolutely not. But you do raise a good point. I'm not sure. I'd have to read more in depth into the actual study. But that is your nourishing news of the day. I hope you all feel encouraged next time you drink your 4th cup of coffee. that
Wow.
you just increased your
It's
stroke
kind of brutal.
risk. Same thing with soda and juice. Yeah, I know. Sorry. It was unnourishing news.
Yeah.
Back to limbs.
Make better choices. Going on to some limbs. Tender spots where the shoulder meets your arm. Ooh, I get this one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's an indicator of vitamin B12 deficiency. But why wouldn't I have all the hand sign? Like, I don't have the hand signs, but my shoulder has that tenderness.
B12 is different than B6, but
Okay.
the other one's more of a B6 deficiency. This one's more of a B12 deficiency.
So B12 stops at my shoulder, and then only B6 makes it to my hand.
Okay, I'm done. Anyway, the solution is to get B12 lozenges that are about 1,000 milligrams daily. And this is for someone who doesn't have a shoulder injury, who doesn't work out a lot, who doesn't get outside. This is for someone who tends to be more, at home on their computer, not very active, not moving very much. And they get these tender spots where their shoulder meets their arm, where if I were to work on it and work on it as an alignment specialist, it would not get better. It would continue to almost bruise and feel worse. That's what the tender spot means.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess that's not me.
So yeah, that's not you. Sorry, honey. But you do get the next one. Can you read it?
Do I?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Do I get small pimple bumps on the arms? Yeah, I do.
On the back
All
of
right.
the arm specifically.
Yeah.
You can get them all over your arms.
Possible sign for beta carotene,
Uh-huh.
B complex, and EFA deficiency.
Yeah, and also food intolerance as well.
Yeah, I thought mine was from gluten. Like whenever I eat gluten, just outbreak on the
So
back
when
of
you
my
have
arm.
consistent food intelligence, you get a beta carotene deficiency and a B complex deficiency.
Is that what that means?
Mm-hmm. So you have to start taking, figure out what your deficiencies are. You can do that through food tests, especially stool samples are the best way to do it. But the main solutions are taking the beta carotene, 15 milligrams a day, and vitamin B complex, probably 50 milligrams a day, and then EFA 500 mcg daily. Next is also taking digestive enzymes, and I love the Designs for Health digestimes. Those are my favorite. I like to say you take 1 before a small meal and 2 before large meals. And you need to start eating a wide range, I should say, of foods that contain high levels of vitamin B12, including sprouted seeds, fish, tempeh, miso soup. Lots of different types of fermented foods in general tend to have higher amounts of vitamin B12 as well.
No wonder I'm low.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Not your vibe.
All right, jumping over to the next one. Red spots on the front of the thigh.
Oh, yeah. So we're now moving down to the lower body.
Yep.
Because red spots on the thighs are a little different than red spots on your arms.
Do I get those?
No.
No? Cool. Okay,
just
so
looked.
it's possible to get that from being vitamin A deficient.
Yes, vitamin A is if you guys listen to our pregnancy and our bearing and birthing series, we talked a lot about vitamin A. Vitamin A is the powerhouse vitamin. It does and creates everything. That's why it's A. A is the best, top of the line. So if you are vitamin A deficient, you tend to get these red bumps on your legs. And which actually, honey, if you've noticed, I have those.
Oh, really? I haven't noticed.
Yeah, I can show you.
Okay. Why are you deficient?
I don't know. I don't think my mom got enough vitamin A during pregnancy.
Oh, is that something that leads from that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, it makes you vitamin A deficient for the rest of your life.
No way.
Yep, where you have to then take higher amounts of vitamin A. Eating organ meats is a really great way to increase vitamin A.
Oh, we better cook that heart in the fridge.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually in the freezer. But also taking wild blue-green algae supplement is really good. Spirulina, it's what it's called, but about a teaspoon or 6 tablets of it daily. Eating seaweed, which is another type of algae, is a great one as well. A lot of people recommend a good multivitamin, but I'm not a fan of multivitamins because then you don't know which vitamin is actually helping you within it. And
that makes sense.
Yeah, and then which ones you're kind of just peeing out and getting rid of.
Yeah.
It's kind of a waste of money, in my opinion. Also, you could be taking too much of something, which could make you worse. So I'm not a fan of multivitamins. Also, just trying to supplement beta carotene as well for 15 milligrams daily can really help just process vitamin A, and it's a good source of vitamin A. These are also a list of foods with high vitamin A: broccoli, Brussels sprouts, carrots, dandelion greens, halibut, kale, mustard greens, papaya, parsley, pumpkin, red pepper, salmon, sweet potatoes, watermelon, watercress, and yellow squash. So all things that I actually crave and I really love to eat, which I think is dawning on Jeremiah right now.
Yeah. Interesting. We should cook that octopus also. I bet you that has a lot of vitamin A in it. Moving on to some sore knees. If your knee is sore, where the kneecap joins the main bone of the leg, it could be an indicator of vitamin and mineral deficiency.
Yeah, overall, vitamin and mineral deficiencies. Yeah. It's because it's the beginning of arthritis. And when you have chronic inflammation in your gut, normally that leads to arthritis or arthritic pain, which then can mean that you are not getting enough selenium in your body or vitamin E. So normally I'd recommend 400 mcg selenium and then about 200 milligrams of vitamin E for at least 3 months.
So moving to the whole leg, let's talk about some leg cramps. I used to get some of those pretty bad to the point where I couldn't walk.
Oh, when we were first married.
Yeah, that was brutal. I was like deficient in water, deficient in like vitamins and all kinds of stuff.
Minerals.
Savannah was sitting there massaging my leg, and like at the same time she gets a phone call, like not the same time, but like weeks before me, a friend calls in. She has the same exact problems going on. I'm like, it's crazy. Cramping leg pains means your calcium levels are low. You may also have a magnesium deficiency, since magnesium is needed to mobilize calcium into the bones. And I remember we were rubbing magnesium into my feet, my hands, everything.
Gosh. Jeremiah was passing out. We were using so much magnesium. It hit him like a ton of bricks. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, normally magnesium's the big one. Also mineral deficiency. So you're not getting enough good mineral salts, not iodized table salt. Sea salts, gray, wet sea salts, because you guess what? They're high in magnesium. So a good solution is to take 750 milligrams of magnesium and 500 milligrams of calcium twice a day. Add seaweed to your soups and stews because it's high natural levels of both of those things. Eat a lot of leafy greens and vegetables. Again, very high naturally in magnesium and calcium and zinc. And if you exercise often and sweat often, it's also a good idea to take magnesium supplement after you work out. So it just allows to help in general. Also, if you get any sore or lower leg bone pain, you can take at least 1,000 milligrams of calcium daily and magnesium glycinate at night to help your liver process specifically. So that.
Something for me to keep in mind, especially while working out.
Jeremiah
I run through
has
so
to
fast.
go back and listen to our podcast quite often. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. All right. So we talked a lot about muscles, joints, and everything. Let's get into some veins.
Is it varicose veins?
Yeah. I don't know much about this. I see it mainly on people that are a little bit older, and I see it on women more than men.
Let's say they're just further along in wisdom and years.
But what I'm saying is I can't really relate or know many people that have it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's okay.
But I know it's something that's just noticeable. An indication of nutritional deficiencies and or congestion in the liver. What does liver have to do with your veins?
So liver health has a lot to do with your veins, because at the end of the day, if you are not moving enough, right? If you are standing for long periods of time, and if you're sitting for long periods of time, blood is pooling into your legs, especially because it's lower to the ground. That's why varicose veins happen in your legs more often than not, because the blood starts pooling down to the bottom. And when the valves in your veins that control your blood flow become damaged or weakened, it causes the pooling to enlarge in your veins.
Okay.
And then that's when they split off and create varicose veins. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
That's why people can get their veins removed. So why does that have to do with your liver? So liver helps filter out your blood.
Yeah.
Your kidneys create red blood cells, if the blood is coagulating down at the bottom of your legs and not fully getting up to your liver and not fully pumping out properly, your liver becomes exhausted and overworked. But if you start working your liver more, if you start doing a liver cleanse, it forces, even if you're not as active as you should be, it forces the blood to come up to your liver. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, good.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah.
So we talk a lot about cleanses and stuff like liver, kidney stuff. How often should someone do that? I'm just curious.
This is a big question, and maybe we can save it. Maybe the next episode can be a detox episode. Maybe we should do that.
Okay.
Because detoxing properly is a whole it's a whole other conversation. Doing protocols properly, actually, didn't we do an episode about that?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Sounds familiar, but we didn't talk about how often. I don't think we did.
Well, because you do it as often as needed. But here's the thing. I'll use my candida as an example.
Yeah.
My liver cannot be cleansed. I'm not cleansing out my organs right now, except for my small intestine and large intestine of yeast. That's what I'm cleansing. So my liver is working overtime. My kidneys are working overtime. My whole detox system is working overtime right now.
That's why you do liver support,
yes,
not liver cleanse.
Exactly. Because if I were to then tell my liver to cleanse right now, or my gallbladder, or my kidneys, or my hypothalamus, my adrenals, whatever it is, if I were to add all of that extra pressure onto my body, it would collapse. Yeah. I can barely work out right now without getting super out of breath because my body is working so hard right now internally. So why would I add that extra pressure onto my body? And a lot of people do that, and they do it improperly. So it's when we cleanse our livers and have a full detox of our liver, normally half of it is building up the liver and then detoxing it properly. So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of liver cleanses. I feel like people do them way too often. But if you've never done them before, yes, you should probably do it once. So getting to the solutions, I recommend taking a vitamin E, at least 400 IU daily. Bioflavonoids, 500 milligrams daily. That's really important. And then a magnesium, 1,000 milligrams daily. Not magnesium glycinate during the day, but make sure you take it at night. So also, if you have any hemorrhoid pain, this can also lead to varicose veins as well. So just be careful if you have hemorrhoids.
That was very informative. I didn't know much about varicose veins, but that all makes sense. Let's go on to cracked feet. Cracking on your feet indicates a possible rise of yeast in the body.
Yes.
Do you have cracked feet right now?
You know, remember when my feet were kind of cracked?
I don't remember
last year when I was pregnant.
Oh.
Do you remember that? You're the one who noticed that my feet were a lot more dry and cracked.
I do remember that.
You do?
That was earlier this year.
Yeah, even earlier this year. We didn't find out that we had yeast until July.
Oh, wow. I forgot. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And how about right now? Are you good?
I don't know. Let's look at each other's feet. You want to see?
Yep. Oh. Lift up that foot. Yeah, you got some cracking. It's a little dry around the ridge. And then right here.
The ridge? No one has any idea what you're talking about. The heel?
The heel. You're so smart. I don't know what to call this thing. It's a foot.
A foot. Yeah, mostly around the heel. It's not cracked, though. I would just say it's dry.
Yeah, it's not as bad as before. It is dry. Let me take my shoe off.
Sorry, it's going to sound so...
Don't mind the smell.
Oh. No, you don't really have it.
Hydrated.
But mine is also 15 years old.
Your feet?
No, my candida.
Oh, okay.
So, adding biotin supplement to your diet, 50 milligrams daily to prevent yeast organisms is really good. It's more of like preventing it from budding at the beginning part of the cycle. And also massaging your feet with flax oil, which I would say oregano oil would be better. Massaging your feet and also taking oregano oil internally. And I mean, I have a whole candida protocol, so a yeast protocol. Also eating higher amounts of garlic. I'm just trying to think, taking a biofilm killer, berberine is also great. And then ending every 2 hours after you take these things, taking activated charcoal is really helpful as well.
It just makes me think of all those people who have those, those scratching thingies for their feet.
Yeah, the pumice stones.
Yeah, those pumice stones, and they have all those cracked feet, and they just do that, and they don't even think about like what's causing this. They just think it's dry feet.
Yeah, most people who need to use pumice stones on their feet.
Those cheese graters. Ugh.
Yeah, well, also too, if you have fungus in your nails at all, that's another thing I wanted to add to this list that I forgot. If you continuously get fungus in your nails or feet, normally it's an internal or it could be a combination external amount of fungus in your body.
And berberine could help with that?
Yeah, which is yeast. You can also do tea tree oil on it topically.
Oh, really?
But I think the best thing is when it's like chronic and it's embedded in like the nail has gotten really thick and kind of gross.
Pull the whole nail out?
Actually, no, you can go get it lasered now.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, they can laser it off.
I was not expecting that answer.
Well, thank you guys for listening to this week's episode of Casting Seeds. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment whether or not you liked this episode and if it helped you in any way, shape, or form. We would love to hear back from you via email or on Instagram. Or is there any other way for people to contact us?
Facebook,
YouTube,
yeah, anywhere in the comments.
Yeah. Just let us know. And we're super thankful for our national and international subscribers and listeners. And remember, you can always contact us for a Bible. I also am super sad that we didn't mention any Bible verses, but I want to say our biblical herb series has been super enlightening and really challenging and wonderful. And I'm just so thankful that God created all of these herbs and supplements and food and really did. I mean, it's so evident that all of these things were made to really benefit us as humans. And I've heard a lot of people say that it's egocentric or human-centric whenever we talk about all of the world and creation being made for us and blessed for us. But it's not. It's God-centric. We are worshiping the Lord. We are made in the image of God. And he created all of these things as blessings for Adam. Remember, all the animals and all the plants, it was made for humans. So it is not egocentric. It is not man-centric. It is man using creation as God ordained. That's what it's made for. So
that tracks. I agree.
Yeah. But I'm super honored and blessed to be able to continue doing this podcast. Again, thank you for praying for my mom through her surgeries and through her cancer journey. And also just be praying because Jeremiah and I have something new in the works that could be changing our whole lives as well for Jeremiah's career. So, and
it's my birthday as you guys listen to this.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I beat you to it.
Yeah, today, technically when you will be listening to this, it's Jeremiah's 35th birthday. So also please shout out to him on Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook in any way, shape, or form. And just let us know how you'll be praying for Jeremiah in this upcoming year, because it is a big year of big changes for us and our family.
Yeah.
We love you guys. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. And please don't hesitate to keep casting seeds. We hope you enjoyed learning how to cultivate God's creation from a biblical perspective. Holistic health is to prioritize whole person wellness through Christ. Like and comment on what topics we're casting seeds or casting pearls.
If you found this information provided useful, subscribe to our podcast for future updates, leave a review to help us improve, and share this episode. We would like to remind you before we leave that perfect health cannot be attained in this world.
Only spiritual salvation through sanctification and repentance to God and turning away from sin will give you a perfect body in the kingdom come. Nourish yourself in the word, in prayer, and in biblical fellowship daily.
Thank you for joining us today, and a special thank you to our listeners for making this podcast possible.
Always praying.
Keep casting seeds.